You bring a book to class. Not always to read it, though sometimes you really do read it. You put your headphones in and you let your foot tap to the rhythm, just enough that someone might notice. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a quiet voice is keeping score. Are they watching? Do I look like someone who reads? Someone who feels music? Someone with a rich inner world? And then comes the question that actually scares you, the one you can never quite answer. Am I doing this because it's who I am? Or am I performing it for an audience that might not even be looking? You've probably called yourself a fraud for this, a poser, someone who can't find the line where the real you ends and the performance begins. But I want to show you something today. That blur you feel, the exhausting, shameful blur between being yourself and watching yourself be yourself, it is not proof that you are fake. It might be proof that you are awake to something almost every human being does and never once notices they are doing. The world has a few words for people like you: poser, try-hard, self-absorbed, or the quiet one you whisper to yourself at 2 a.m. Fake. Somewhere along the way, maybe in plain words, maybe just in the look on someone's face, you were told that you care too much about how you come across. That a real, secure person would not think about this at all. I am here to tell you that diagnosis is wrong. You are not fake, and you are not broken. You are running a piece of social hardware far more powerful than most people's, and nobody ever taught you how to live with it. A psychologist would describe you with a dry little phrase: high in public self-consciousness. I want to give you a better name. You have a mirror mind. Most people walk through the world looking out, at the room, the conversation, the task in front of them. You look out and into a mirror at the same time. You see the room and you see yourself in the room. You are the actor on the stage and the person in the back row watching the actor, at once, all the time. This is not a character flaw, it is wiring, and the science is surprisingly specific. Over a century ago, a sociologist named Charles Cooley described something he called the looking glass self. His idea was that you do not build your sense of who you are in isolation. You build it out of your best guess at how you appear in the eyes of other people. You imagine their view of you, and that imagined reflection becomes part of you. And his point was radical. This is not something broken or vain people do. It is how every human self gets made. We are all assembled, partly, out of the gaze of others. A mirror mind simply does it louder. Your brain runs an unusually vivid simulation of other minds, what scientists call theory of mind, the ability to model what someone else is thinking and feeling. Most people have it running quietly in the background. Yours runs in high fidelity, in the foreground. You do not just guess how you come across, you feel it, in your body, in real time. And here is the part that should change how you see all of this. If constantly monitoring how you appear were useless, evolution would have switched it off a long time ago. It did not. It sharpened it. For almost all of human history, you survived through the group. To be cast out of the tribe was not embarrassing, it was fatal. So the people who made it were the ones who could track, moment to moment, how the group saw them, who could read the room and adjust before they were ever pushed to the edge of it. Your hyper-awareness of being perceived is not vanity. It is one of the oldest survival systems we have. You are just running it in a world of cameras and classrooms it was never built for. Think of social life as a theater. For most people, the house lights are off. They are up on stage, doing their scene, and they genuinely cannot see the audience. It is freeing. It is also a little blind. Your house lights are on. You can see every face in the seats. You see them watching, and you see yourself being watched, and you adjust the performance accordingly. That is how a small thing, tapping your foot to a song in a quiet classroom, becomes an entire production in your head. You are not just listening to music. You are lighting yourself, blocking the scene, watching the monitor. It is exhausting. I am not going to pretend it is not. So let's be honest about the cost, because telling you this is all a gift would be a lie, and you would know it. When you come home after a few hours around people and you collapse, not because you disliked any of them, but because you are wrung out, that is the bill coming due. You were not just talking. You were rendering a full, high-resolution version of yourself as seen for hours with no break. Of course the battery is dead. When you freeze the instant a camera comes out, that is not you being awkward. Your radar correctly noticed that you just became a permanent record instead of a passing moment, and it flooded. The stakes genuinely did change. Your system only over-responded. And that blur, the one that scares you the most, where you cannot tell if you mean it or if you are performing it, that is the mirror mind catching sight of itself. Most people never see the seam between their real feeling and their presented feeling because they cannot see the audience at all. You can. Seeing the seam does not mean you are made of fake parts. It means you have a clear view of a machine that every single person is running, in the dark, without ever knowing it is on. You felt the music, and you knew you might be seen feeling it. Both of those things were true at the same moment. Neither one cancels the other out. So what do you actually do with a mind like this? You do not try to tear the mirror out. You cannot, and you should not want to. You learn to point it. Here are 3 tools. You will not remember all of them in the moment, so just take one. The first is the audience audit. The next time you feel that prickle of being watched, stop and ask a literal question. Who, specifically, is watching me right now? And what are they actually doing? Not everyone. A name, a real person. Then look. Almost every time, the honest answer is no one in particular, and they are busy starring in their own movie. There is a well-documented finding in psychology called the spotlight effect, where we wildly overestimate how much other people notice us. Study after study shows we are far less observed and far more quickly forgotten than it feels from the inside. The audience audit is just you gathering that evidence in real time. The second is a single sentence you keep in your pocket. They have already moved on. Because they have. The stumble you are still replaying tonight, they forgot before they even left the room. Everyone's house lights are off but yours. To them, you were a passing extra, never the lead. The third is the one that matters most, and it is for that deeper blur. When you catch yourself spiraling, is this real or am I performing? I want you to say this, word for word. It can be both, and both is allowed. A musician on a stage feels the song and knows the crowd is there. The crowd does not make the feeling fake. You are not a liar for being seen while you mean it. And there is one last thing your mind needs that it almost never gets. A backstage. A real one. Time alone, with the audience genuinely gone, where you can find out what you actually like when no one could possibly be watching. Not to hide from people. To remember the sound of your own reactions without the render running on top of them. The world was not built for a mind like yours. It is full of lenses and feeds and rooms with the lights turned up, and it will keep telling you to just relax, just be yourself, as if you were not already trying with everything you have. But you are not too much. You are not fake. You are someone who can see the invisible architecture of how people become themselves. And that same sight, turned outward instead of back against you, is the root of empathy, of art, of charisma, of every person who ever made someone else feel truly seen. The mirror was never your prison. You were just never shown how to hold it. So the next time you bring the book or slip the headphones in and that old question rises up, am I real or am I performing? You can finally give it an answer. Both. And keep going. If something in this felt a little too accurate, you might have a mirror mind too. This channel is where we decode the parts of you that you were taught to be ashamed of. I'll see you in the next one.